to the royal court. Look at this lighting. My wonderful husband got me an overhead, like, fluorescent light. So now everything is illuminated properly. Today I'm going to be making the first of 6, hopefully 6, at least 3, but hopefully 6 autumnal soaps. So this is the pumpkin pie spice one. It's going to have 3 colors swirled in the middle. It's going to have orange, green, and white, and then the base is going to be brown because the fragrance oil discolors to brown anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and color it brown so that it looks more even all around. First thing to do is to make sure that my oils and my lye water solution are the same temperature, and they are, well, not exactly the same temperature, but within 20 degrees of each other. So they're actually within 8 degrees of each other right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the lye water solution down the stick blender. Get out of there. Then I'm going to very, very gently start to mix this up. Very, very slowly. I don't want it to get too far in the mixing process, essentially. So I'm actually not going to pour a ton into these. I only want about that much. I really want the soap to be mainly brown. If you would like to see me make this soap, I have done this, I think, 2 other years, and I think I filmed it, but at least 1 other year, so I'll link that up in the little info cards section up in the corner of this video. Wow, I've actually done a really good job of not being too messy. Well, of course, as soon as I say that, it starts dripping off the bottom. Whatever, at least it's not messy as I have been. Okay, so now that I have my little colors separated here, I'm going to get the little colors that I have pre-mixed. So here's the white. I'm just going to put about that much in there. Here's the orange. This is Orange Vibrance from Nurture Soap Supplies. This is one of the only oranges I have found that really, really, really holds up unless it's a neon orange. So there's some other neon oranges I found from other companies that hold up really, really well. But if you're just looking for a regular orange, that's the best one I found. And then also the green Vibrance mica. And then I just have some brown oxide that I have mixed with water because oxides dissolve in water a lot better than if you try to dissolve them in oil. Water works a lot better for doing those. And that is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. So we're going to start with the white because it's the lightest color. Okay, so there's the white. Then I'm going to move to orange. Awesome. There's the orange. And there's the green. And I'm actually going to add some more green because that's too light. Okay, I know you can probably like not tell the difference at all, but there is more green color in there. Now I'm going to mix up the brown. I'm not really using the brown to color this soap as much as I am to sort of stabilize the discoloration of this soap. I'm moving these over to the side where I will do the pouring into the loaf mold in the future. And now I'm going to add my fragrance oil into here. Okay, so that looks about right. Now we're going to go over to my loaf molds and begin pouring. So sorry that you are far away, but I need to like start pouring this immediately. I just don't have time to move you any closer because this is already starting to set up pretty good. And I'm trying to be really careful when I pour it. Okay, so that's about as much as I'm going to pour in to begin with. Then I'm just going to kind of move this around, make sure it's sort of even. Then I'm going to start pouring the colorants in from up as high as I can without missing the actual loaf mold. Just like this. So there's the white. Now I'm going to pour the green. And I'm pouring almost all of the color in one pour. And now I'm going to pour the orange. I have a feeling the swirl in here is going to be pretty crazy. Now I'm going to kind of shimmy this around. The swirl is always very interesting whenever you're pouring into a color that is setting up faster. So like, because the base soap has fragrance in it, it's setting up faster than the rest of it. So these sort of color swirls always look kind of interesting because it looks sort of like lava because it's not setting up at equal rates. I'm just going to kind of lightly bounce this, and that is going to fill out the mold a little better. These molds are from brambleberry.com. So I get asked on almost every video, even though I say it sometimes, where the molds are from. They are from brambleberry.com. I will leave a link to them down in the description box below. I have had these molds for ages, like 2 or 3 years. Almost as long as I've been making soap, I've had these molds. Just a really, really long time. Okay, so that's going to do for now. And I'm just going to scrape out my bowls and scrape out this big container until there's like nothing left because I am so OCD about that. But that would be really, really boring to watch. So I'll bring you back whenever I start piping these loaves. Okay guys, so we are back to pipe and I'm going to spray this with 91% rubbing alcohol because I'm honestly a little concerned about the top not sticking because I had to wait so long because I had a disaster, a real disaster. I spilled 50 ounces of oil, my entire piping batch, onto the table. I have never spilled that much oil in my whole life. Like, I have no idea what I was thinking, but against what I always try to do and take my stick blender out of my oil after I mix up the micas, I left the stick blender in it and it lost its balance and just fell right out of the bowl, tipping the bowl and thus getting the bowl all nasty and dumping it out all over my table. It was great. It was so great. So much cleanup. So much cleanup. Now this color is going to look weird on the camera because it looks weird in real life. This is like a grayish green, and that's because it's supposed to be a light green, but because it hasn't saponified yet, it turns that weird gray color. So it just kind of looks like a really nasty off-white, but don't worry, it will look beautimous tomorrow. I haven't used this brambleberry mold in a few videos. This feels kind of weird, actually. I got all used to the nurture one, so I'm like having to readjust to the brambleberry one. I like things about both. Overall, for me right now, I think I like the nurture one better, just because it's bigger, so it's taller, which is nice, so that your high top is still contained within the mold and not sitting like on the outside. So that's totally just like a personal thing. And because it insulates the soap better. And I find that when your soap gets hotter, it retains its fragrance oil better. Like, it retains the smell a little bit better. It doesn't really, my soaps haven't gone through gel phase yet. They just get warmer. And I think when they have like a warmer sort of like 24-hour sit in the mold, they get harder and they just smell stronger. The things I don't like about it is that it is definitely harder to get soap out of the mold, because the brambleberry mold, it is so easy to get soap out of it. Like, the liner's really thin, so you can like remove stuff really easily. That also means that you have to put clips on the side every time. I don't have to put clips on it with the nurture mold, but because it's really thin, if you have soaps that maybe don't get as hard as mine do in the first 24 hours, you might have a harder time unmolding them because they stick to the sides of the nurture mold. So the brambleberry molds, it's easier to unmold your soap, so there's one thing. They cost less, that's another thing. And their finish is quite good. The nurture soap one has scratched my table, where the brambleberry one never did. So there's a lot of pros and cons on both of them. I think it really just depends on what your needs are as a soap maker. The nurture one is also like tailored to fit into my nurture soap making 18 bar cutter like a lot better than this one, because this is a 17 bar, obviously. I'm just piping this all crazy. It's like I've completely forgotten how to pipe with this. Now every time I make pumpkin soap, and because I've been seeing them so often, I always think about Cinderella and like the fairy godmother and the pumpkin. And I thought I would tell you guys, I read a horrible article the other day, and I don't even know why I clicked on it. I thought maybe it was a joke, and it was like 10 things I hate about Cinderella or something, and I thought it was gonna be like ironic, like she always has the perfect hair. But it wasn't. It was a real article about like 10 things this person hated about Cinderella. I would say it was very politically correct, but in a way that it kind of just beats up on a childhood favorite of most people. So they were saying that Cinderella was really weak and that she didn't know her own mind, and it kind of inserted like the quote that people have been like really crazy using nowadays: train your daughters to worry less about fitting in glass slippers and more about shattering glass ceilings. Like, see, she was so worried about that, and really focusing on independence of men. Like, oh, she needs someone to save her. What kind of a role model is that? All of that sort of thing. It ripped my little 12-year-old Katie heart apart because I always liked Cinderella. She was my favorite princess. And I just really liked Cinderella because I thought she was sweet and good in the face of evil. That was something that I really aspired to be, was to be kind and loving to people that were not kind and loving to me. I think a lot of people mistake strength for unforgiveness and for being revengeful. And sure, that sounds kind of silly, but I mean, you think about it, it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of strength to forgive someone and to be the bigger person, as it were, in a situation. And I feel like, me personally, I feel like that's what Cinderella did. I think she was the bigger person in the situation, that she forgave those who did evil against her even though she did nothing wrong. And in the end, she ultimately got the better of the deal, which is to live in a giant mansion with her true love and be like princess of the kingdom. I don't think that's a bad deal. I just think in the efforts of teaching little girls to be strong, we shouldn't overlook the fact that courage and kindness and lovingness in and of itself is being strong. Not to say all that other stuff is bad. That's just like one personal take on, hey, they can both be strong. And that little girls should probably learn both sides, not just one. So now I have these soapy embeds. These are little mini pumpkins, and I got the mold from Mold Market. I will say that I found this mold thanks to the For Soap's Sake subscription box. It is a soap making subscription box, you guys. It's so cool. I'm going to have to try it out one of these days. Also, I feel like this is going to take me absolutely ages to get all of these in, and I feel like you would definitely get bored watching me. So let's perform a little Cinderella magic right here, and bippity boppity boo! So now I am going to spray this again with 91% rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to take this little piping bag with a little bitty round piping tip, and I am going to start adding vines to this. Now, I have done this in the past on almost all of my pumpkin soaps, but I have often used a bigger tip, so I decided to use one that was a little smaller this time, and I think that I definitely like the way this looks a lot better. I'm gonna spray this all one more time. We're gonna start adding some leaves to these suckers. This looks so pretty. Oh, the sparkles. Oh, the sparkles. God bless the sparkles. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. What was I wasting my time with just regular green oxide my whole life? More leaves than I ever imagined. But hey, pumpkin patches have lots of leaves and very little pumpkins, so I'm just trying to stay accurate here. So finally, I'm going to spritz this one last time with the 91% rubbing alcohol, and then I am going to pour on some of my favorite glitter. This is from TKB, and I think glitter just brings out the best in everybody. Also, this is so it's so Cinderella, man. It's so Cinderella. If this isn't like fairy godmother magic, I don't know what is. I hope I didn't offend anybody with my little talk about Cinderella. I do think that some of the points that that person was making were definitely valid. I come from a very long line of very Texas strong country women, educated but still from rural areas where hard work was a big deal. So I come from a very long line of very strong, tough women. So I'm definitely not going to be the ones to say, no, we should all be like knitting stockings, unless that's what you want to do. But where there is courage and power and the mightiness of a woman, so there should also be compassion and love and forgiveness. That's my main point. So I'm gonna let these sit in the mold for 24 to 48 hours, and we will be back tomorrow to cut them, and I am so excited. And good morning, everybody. As you can see, the soap has been sitting for about 24 hours, and actually it's more like 18. And look at the piping. The piping everything that looked that kind of weird grayish color has now turned like a minty green, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. And then the bottom of the soap has already turned a nice dark brown. So let's cut this. I'm gonna line it up to make sure that I'm not cutting any of the little pumpkins here. I'm just going to press down gently. I actually ended up getting like a teeny tiny bit of the pumpkin over there. And I knocked some of the vines off. Dang it! That's okay. They're still moldable enough that I can kind of just press them back on. So let me pull one from the middle for you guys. So that's what it looks like in the middle. I think that looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of like lightning or something. And then this color brown will turn a really, really dark brown. You can see on the sides it's already started to turn. So that's what it looks like in the middle. Ooh. Ah. It smells so amazing. It smells so good. It smells just like pumpkin pie spice. It smells delicious. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, maybe even leave me a comment down below. And I will see you again soon for another rockin' video. So until next time, you have a royal day. Bye for now.